What's going on, Nerd Nation? It's Fox2, and I'm back with the Comic Book Nerd Nation podcast, episode number 13. Today, I'm here with DePirate.
Hi, guys.
Topher.
I'm sorry. Did he just say, hi, guys?
I think he did.
Okay.
I think he did. And then we got the whole effing Brian.
I love you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I look more like a circle.
That's so sweet. All right, guys.
He's
so
like, I love you.
I
It was
want
an
to jump
anatomically
right in.
correct shaped heart.
The like.
See, here's the valve.
Are you gonna make it like pumping, like? All right. So now that that's our failed attempt at some kind of weird sign language art or whatever you want to call it, I want to jump right in, and I want to talk about the Gotham City or Gotham PD. I'm not sure exactly what the title is going to be, but the TV
I
show.
think it's just called Gotham.
Is it Gotham? Okay.
That's what it's at now. It's just Gotham.
Okay. The TV show that's coming out that's supposed to be a origin kind of the Batman universe. And I don't let's before I get into what I want to say about this, let Pirate go ahead and read off some script names for us. I know you got it pulled up on your computer. Or some
Okay,
cast
yeah,
names,
we
rather.
got Ben McKenzie was cast as James Gordon.
Okay, stop right there. Hold on. Okay. For those of you that don't know, Ben McKenzie was what was his name in Ryan, the main person in OC back when it was a good show by all its rights when it was popular. But that was then, this is now, that was that, and this is comic books, two completely different worlds. Keep going, please.
Well, on that, James Gordon, he's playing an idealistic rookie detective for Gotham City Police Department's Homicide Squad. He's a former college football star and a war hero.
So is he supposed to be a douchebag with, like, I don't know, a roll of quarters shoved up his ass 24/7?
No.
Okay, then they picked the wrong actor.
All right. So, anyways, okay. Then you got Sean Pertwee, and I don't know if I'm saying these names right.
I can't remember his
It's
last name.
Pertwee.
Okay.
Pertwee. He's playing Alfred Pennyworth, who's an ex-Marine from East London, served loyally to the Wayne family and is now awake of their tragic deaths. He's fiercely protective of young Bruce. Blah 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 blah. You know, he's basically Alfred. And then Robin Lord Taylor as Oswald Cobblepot.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with him.
Not familiar either.
Yeah, it doesn't even have a link for his stuff.
Okay, so welcome to
fresh to the
Showbiz.
He's the brains of a chess grandmaster, okay, and the morals of a jackal. Cobblepot is a low-level sociopath for gangster Fish Mooney, and hides his sadistic lust for power behind an exquisitely polite demeanor. Okay, then we have Sabrina Guevara, who is playing Captain Essen.
Essen, that's Captain Essen.
Yeah.
Captain Essen.
Oh, okay, yeah, Detective Gordon's boss at Gotham City Police Department Homicide Squad. Okay. Aaron Richards as Barbara Ken, and Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock. So
Okay, so
that's all they have.
I like what they're doing with the Alfred. They're adding the ex-Marine where we've seen in certain offshoot stories.
yeah, what was the offshoot story that I was just telling you about? Recently?
Earth
Two?
One. Earth One.
Earth
Yeah,
One.
yeah. Earth
Yeah.
One. This sounds like a very, very Earth One Alfred to me. Don't you think, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, like making him. I mean, we don't have that many details right now because the show is still in development and they're still casting. But to me, adding that British Marine to his character, he's gonna be tougher than just a butler.
Yeah, he's going to be a butler that in Earth One, at least, if you haven't, spoilers by the way, if you haven't read the story yet, the Earth One, Alfred comes in literally the night of the Wayne's death, Bruce Wayne's parents' death, and he shows up to be added security essentially for the Wayne family because Mr. Wayne is nervous. He's scared. Not I wouldn't say scared, but he's nervous that there's a lot of tension going on. He's getting a lot of threats, and that results in him reaching out to a former military buddy in Alfred to come in and be head of security. And obviously, as we all know, what happens is they go to the movies and the parents die. Bruce comes home. Bruce is left, without anyone, and so Alfred takes him under his wing and then forms into the butler, role, but protector butler more than just like the the 1980s Michael Keaton Batman retarded Alfred Butler.
Yeah.
This way, sir.
You know what? I just noticed too. Looking at the cast list, Donald Logue, he played the crazy in Sons of Anarchy. He was the one whose sister was the nurse. He was like the ATF agent, the crazy guy that.
Okay.
That's
the
Donald
guy
Logue.
with the shaggy hair and the.
Yeah, he was in Grounded
that,
for Life,
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Oh wow, has he really?
I actually like.
Harvey.
Yeah, I like him for Harvey Bullock in the kind of crooked cop role.
Yeah,
the sarcastic. Oh, you didn't know who he was?
No, I
didn't
realize
know either until I noticed and skimmed through. That's why I didn't know. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who this
No,
is.
when I first looked at the list of names of people, I'm like, oh, he's the only one I recognize, but I kind of like that. Yeah, he played Lee Torek was his name in Sons of Anarchy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I liked him in that role, but even as a more kind of beat cop detective sort of face, I think I like him even more. Like the whole foil to Jim Gordon, the crooked cop who's on the take, and kind of like the guy who thinks he knows everything, and hates Batman and all this stuff. I can really see him and doing pretty well in that role. Now is this supposed to be like? I'll be honest. I don't know a whole lot about the background of Gotham. Is Bruce Wayne supposed to be in it? Because I haven't seen anybody cast for him yet.
They've been saying either like he's a kid or.
I think it's supposed
basically
to be like...
where it's at right now. It says originally conceived the series would have served as a straightforward story, early days on the Gotham City Police Force. The idea evolved not only to include Bruce Wayne character, but will also tell the origin stories of several famed villains,
All right, now
including
I
the
want
Penguin,
to
the Riddler,
interject
and
myself right
Catwoman.
here. The reason, and I'm going to go out on a branch and say the reason that this was changed around was an episode of Batman on Batman, Kevin Smith with, was it Paul Dini, Pirate?
Yeah, I think it was Paul
with
Dini.
Paul Dini, where they were talking about this show, I think they were talking about the show or something.
No, they were talking about...
They were talking about something, but anyway, they basically, Kevin Smith's all fucking baked out of his mind on marijuana and just smoking just an incredible amount of weed the entire time. But literally through the course of this one episode, actually I think it was 2 episodes back to back, but they basically come up with an entire fucking plot line for a show set in Gotham where not all, but most of the main characters of Gotham universe are at that adolescent age of boarding school type of thing, and it's centered around a boarding school. And not only do they come up with the idea, but they give you like storylines, they give you plots, they give you origins and how this person got there. And Dr. Crane is the school psychologist, or
Nice.
What do they call them? School. I can't remember the person.
Counselor?
School counselor, and
Guidance counselor.
Guidance counselor, yeah, exactly. And they've got all these background lead-ins to how you can fit this character into it. And literally, I'm not even lying. Literally, like a week and a half after that podcast aired, it was announced that they were introducing all these other characters that were in their developmental roles, and it was just like, really, because literally Paul Dini and Kevin Smith multiple times throughout, they were like, this is fucking gold, this is we've got this on lock. Like I am going Kevin Smith, and if Kevin Smith says he's going to pitch something, he's going to do it because he's he did that with Red State. He did it with Tusk, a movie that he just made and sold in Germany, I think, for the most money I think that an independent movie has ever made. I can't remember.
Germany, yeah.
But yeah, he sold it to Sony Films, and that was a movie that literally came out of one of his podcasts that he did. The Idea did. So he was going to pitch it, and he said like, I'm going to take this to the studios and I'm going to pitch this. This is an idea. This is a fucking movie. This is a TV show. We can make this. Like this will be successful. And literally like a week and a half later, like they come out and they say exactly, pretty much verbatim, without being verbatim, this is what we're going to do. And
this is why you guys will never hear my movie ideas on the comic book.
Well, there is that and the fact that you don't have it. No, I just kidding.
There's tons of them. I mean, I got
drinking a
stacks
lot.
of paper full of
I have stacks of blank papers.
Stacks upon stacks of noteworthy movie material.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on where that all came from, kind of. But where were we? Someone jump in here.
Gotham being about police instead of Bruce Wayne, or
yeah.
You know what? I don't care where the idea came from. I like it better than. I mean, well, I think this is going to be more entertaining than just a cop drama based in a fictional location.
Yeah, because there's already freaking like 900 of those on TV. CSI,
right?
Exactly.
1 through 74.
CSI Gotham.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
There's
That's exactly what it would be.
characters.
It would be CSI Gotham.
Gotham PD Blue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, there was a pretty successful comic book based upon just the detectives of Gotham, but like it's very. I think it's going to be good because there's already established characters. There's always going to be a reason to watch it because you want to lead into it. I had a feeling it was going to become like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think the big reason they're including a lot of the established characters, unlike Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is because the failure rate of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. having. You know what I mean? Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., their big thing was like, look, this is the behind-the-scenes stuff. This isn't you're not going to see Thor. You're not going to see, the Hawk. You might see Nick Fury. You might see, Lady Sif. But you're not going to, the Avengers aren't going to be in there.
These are the guys. We can't afford the movie stars to come to
this
our
is
television
the quiet
show.
Well, exactly. But it's the quiet. It's the suits in the background that you always see in the movies. They're getting pushed up front, and I think that Gotham learned that that's not what people want to see. That's not going to get asses in seats to get ratings.
Well, I mean, think about
it. So they're like, okay, let's give them these characters, but let's give them a different variation.
I mean, think about it, though. Okay, like you go to your favorite restaurant, all right? Say you go to your favorite restaurant and, you sit down and do you want, like, and this is a nice restaurant. Like, this is a restaurant where you're going to pay...
Do you want the steak or do you want the broccoli?
This is going to be $150.
Chuck E. Cheese's is a nice restaurant?
Well,
because that's my favorite restaurant.
That's because you're a pedo bear, but that's...
Right,
we'll save that for another
He just
episode.
sits in the ball pit.
So, yeah, touching little... Anyway. So... You go to a restaurant and it's a nice restaurant, $100 a plate. We'll say you got you and your date. Now, do you want their A team waiting staff or do you want their B team waiting staff? That's all it is. If you came to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because you directly relate to that show through the Avengers, you want to see the characters that you saw in the Avengers. Am I right, Brian? I mean...
Yeah, basically. I mean, you don't want those half-ass stories that, just telling you, beating around the bush. You don't get Batman, but you're beating around the bush.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You want Thor. You want to see the Hulk. You want to see Captain America. If it's the Gotham series, you want to see fucking Batman. This shit is about Batman. He's the only motherfucking thing that's worth a goddamn.
But see, this is not. You're not going to get Batman though. You're going to get Bruce Wayne, which I think is very cool.
And that's what I'm saying. Without Bruce Wayne, without Bruce Wayne, yeah, exactly. Without Bruce Wayne, that show is not worth anything.
I'm going to offer a differing opinion here.
Okay, I'd like to hear it.
Because I don't think Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has so far been everything I wanted out of it. But
I haven't watched it. I'm a huge Hulk fan. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I haven't even watched 3 episodes.
Well, then I think it's pretty funny. You can criticize it.
I can, because it's not interesting.
I like the show. Like I know that it hasn't lived up to everybody's expectations, and I'll be honest. I think there are some things they could do better, but I like it. And when I watch it, I don't watch it to see Thor or the Hulk or Captain America, or any of those. Like I understand that that's not the premise, and I think there can be stories set in a world with superheroes that are still about the little guys.
But don't show any of the superheroes ever.
That are still about everyday people.
Right,
yeah,
but it doesn't even
they
show
can.
the superheroes.
I agree with you on this one, Tucker. But
you gotta have a cameo.
The problem with that is that's not what keeps people intrigued and keeps asses in the seats. Because
what keeps people intrigued and asses in seats are good stories. It's not that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has failed characters or doesn't have enough superheroes. There are plenty of stories out there. There are good comic books that don't have superheroes. But like the thing is, they have to tell a good story. It's easier to tell a good story when you've got the Hulk or something. Like, everybody's going to go see that, of course. It's a lot harder to write a good quality story about normal people set in a universe that has superheroes. And so like I think that there's a place for that, though. Like, just because it has superheroes and big names doesn't mean it's going to be good. I mean, look at Batman. I would rather watch Gotham than Batman and Robin and watch Arnold Schwarzenegger on ice skates and George Clooney.
We know.
And we will not get back into that. We will not get back into that.
You're trying to drive down that fucking path again. I can see it.
Just because
we're going to go down the rabbit hole.
Just because you've got Batman and it doesn't make it good. Just because you've got the big name superheroes doesn't mean it's good. You still have to tell a good story. And I think a great story about Jim Gordon's early days in the Gotham Police Department, if told well, can be every bit as good as a Batman story, even if Bruce Wayne never even shows up.
I think you need Bruce Wayne. I think you need Bruce Wayne, but
that
I think
diminishes Gordon's accomplishments, though. Like, for it to be a really good Jim Gordon story, you can't have some superhero rush in and save the day, or be a big a big thing.
You leave Batman out of it. I agree with you. You leave Batman out because you do want it to be starred around James Gordon, even though it's some schmuck from basically a daytime soap opera or whatever. But that aside, you want it to be about James Gordon. You don't want it to be about Batman. You need Bruce Wayne there for the hints at what you need it for the hints at what Bruce Wayne will be. All of those like subtle gestures, those subtle story plot lines, just like in Smallville. Okay, I started watching Smallville just this past weekend. I picked up at an antique mall. Actually, I picked up 2 seasons on DVD for $8 a piece. And,
nice.
And I started watching it, and one of the big lines that really caught me was Lex Luthor and Clark Kent sitting in the top fuck you, Clark Kent. God damn it, Clark Kent and Lex Luthor sitting in the top of the barn, looking out at the sky, and they're talking and
making out.
They were talking about how Lex Luthor's one of his old friend or some other people, they betrayed their best friends, and Clark says, "Do you think that'll ever be us?" And Lex comes back with, "No, I think our friendship will be something of legend."
Oh yeah.
And that is the fucking kind of hints that you need.
But that's what Topher's saying is good story writing.
Hints like that are about those characters themselves, and so if you want to have a hint about how Jim Gordon is going to be, a friend of vigilantes, or if you take the same story, put Jim Gordon in a story where there's some vigilante going around doing some shit, and Jim Gordon's like, "Oh, we will never have room in this town for vigilantes," something like that, foreshadowing about his own character. But when you start foreshadowing about other characters that aren't central to your current story, then it leaves everybody focused elsewhere. It leaves you
I
wanting
agree.
Batman. It leaves you wanting this. At least in Smallville, it's Clark Kent and Lex Luthor giving hints about Clark Kent and Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I agree. It would have to be an internal thing. It would have to be something between the two of them.
Which is why Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't working for some people, because they're hinting about all these other characters that don't ever show up in the show. If they just told good stories about Phil Coulson and his team, it would be great.
Be much better.
But when you try and hint and draw in these other things, people want to see those other things.
So what you're really saying,
you can't make a good story about Jim Gordon, but to be a good story about Jim Gordon, you have to hint about Jim Gordon's future and its tangential relationship to Batman. You can't keep hinting about how awesome Bruce Wayne is going to be, or everybody's going to want to see more of Bruce Wayne, and it destroys your Jim Gordon story.
So what you're really saying
is not going to be much
that
in the show
you need
anyways.
to have better writers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, the motherfuckers are failing, you got to hire better writers.
I still enjoy
fires
it, but...
your ass. Fuck you. You're out.
I think they're doing a good job on they're picking up on things to bring in more. Topher mentioned this in a few episodes ago about with Thor, the new Thor, how they had a tie-in episode. They've already said there's going to be another tie-in episode for Winter Soldier. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Winter Soldier are going to set up Avengers 2.
The shitty thing is that fucking Captain America's not going to be in it.
No, but
you already know
it doesn't matter though. There's plot, but there's plot they're going to start releasing that's going to pertain to Avengers 2 before it comes out.
My point is, if I have to choose how to spend my time, and I can choose between reading new comic books that I have not read, watching a movie that I have not seen, playing video games, or watching a TV show that does not show the people that I want to see, or I can later go back and read that storyline in 5 minutes or less online after it airs.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm just going to read that shit and then wait for the movie.
It's like reading a comic that you're obsessed with, that you're running and you're reading through, like Zero Year was a prime example. You know, I bought comics from other titles.
Yeah, I'm the same way with the
Sometimes if you like something, you kind of got to go out and give it a try.
I'm the same way with the Forever Evil. I am too.
Look back at Darkest Night though. Do you know how many comics tied into Darkest Night and Brightest Day that had nothing to do with it, and all they did was they just tried to make it a tie-in because they thought they'd sell more issues with a tie-in, and it had nothing to do with the current plot of that title. They just wanted to bring it in. And to Fox's point, like I don't agree with you on that one, John. Like, as far as Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like I think the tie-ins are a little cool. Like, it's cool going out and seeing. It was cool seeing Thor and then coming back and watching Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and being like, oh hey, they brought that plotline in. But again, they're taking focus. They're directing the focus of their show elsewhere, and I don't think it's good for that show. It's cool that they're trying to build this, bigger cinematic universe, and it's neat that, things from Thor led into that. But, I think it's a distraction sometimes too.
They're relying too much on the movies to help them push the show.
Right.
Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I watch it. I think it's a good show. I don't love it. But everything's always about the aliens, technology, or the extremists, and this happened, and this guy, God with a hammer, super soldier. They need to make their own stories
right.
that have nothing to do with what happened or what's going on.
Did you ever watch Heroes?
Yeah.
It reminds me of, like the main movies are like the show Heroes, and then like Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are like the webisodes that they tried to do in the background. That's like other characters that kind of tie in and go back and forth. And it's like, I don't feel like I'm watching something that stands on its own merit. They keep pushing this to be like the behind the scenes stuff of the Marvel Universe, but it's like, this feels like the bonus content. This doesn't feel like a show that can stand on its own merit.
Free on a fucking DVD. Okay, I want to steer the conversation just a little bit. We touched on Smallville. Real quick poll. I know, Pirate, you've seen it. Topher, have you seen Smallville?
I haven't.
Okay, Brian, have you seen Smallville?
Yeah, I wasn't.
A
I
little
didn't
bit, at least?
watch it, but I watched the last season, a few of seasons in between.
Okay, so real quick before we get into the next thing that I want to talk about, I have one bone to pick with Smallville thus far, and I'm better part of the way through first season as I look over at my DVD stack there. This show really portrays the like teenage Superman to be like a fucking pervert. He's a fucking peeping Tom. Dude, he stands up in his barn with a damn telescope peeping directly out at Lana Lang's. That's my other question. Why is it Lana Lang and not Lois Lane? That's
keep watching.
Okay. I'm sure there's a reason for that, but anyway.
Yeah,
my point
Lois
is
Lane's hot.
He's like peeping out of his barn directly at her front door. She even catches him in the first season. This show ran for 10 seasons, and I'm assuming the love interest obviously stays. So, Pirate, chime in on this. You got to see what I'm saying here.
Dude, yeah, no, I agree.
Tom.
But the whole point of Smallville was never like there's a lot of things that get brought up.
I'm talking about the fact that motherfucker's sitting in a barn with a telescope, spying at her front door, watching her with her boyfriend.
And you act like you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, okay. You're a teenager.
Basis.
Okay, you're a teenager from another planet, not familiar with our Earth customs, and you have X-ray vision.
He's familiar with our Earth customs.
You don't use it. You don't use it to look at chicks?
But no, it's not his X-ray vision.
He doesn't have X-ray vision.
Yeah, he does at this point. But it's not his X-ray vision.
Oh, he does it that one?
It's literally him in a barn with a telescope. Just a run-of-the-mill telescope that you're supposed to look at the stars with that is his father, or his grandfather's, I guess, by adoption, that passed to his father that now passed to him. And he, more than you looking at the stars, stares at Lana Lang's front door.
The actress that plays Lana Lang is a star.
Oh my god. All right, that's enough of that conversation. Okay, on to next. I know we have talked about this a lot. Lots of podcasts have, lots of blogs have, lots of people on Facebook have. But I want to touch on this again because I feel like there has been a revelation, not in the movie industry, not in the comic book industry, but within the comic book nerd nation itself. Two of you do not realize that this has happened. One of you does realize this has happened. He probably doesn't realize I'm going to bring this up right now, so I'm going to surprise him. And I want to talk about Lex Luthor being played by Jesse Eisenberg. Now, let me just tell you, hang on just a second. You can see the reactions here. Let me just tell you the what exactly happened, okay? So Pirate came over to my house the other night, and we both homebrew beer, and he came over and helped me out with a batch of beer, and we handled that.
Keep it PG.
We were what?
Keep it PG. We don't want to hear about you and Pirate's explorations.
Oh, you don't want to hear about the tongue punching of cinnamon stars.
Hi.
Anyway. So he came over. We were going to watch the newest episode of Arrow, which ends up that it was postponed because of the Olympics. So
fucking Olympics.
So we couldn't watch that. So we watched a movie that I had previously seen and I completely forgot about when we were talking about the merits of Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor, and that is Now You Can See Me. And I told Pirate before we started watching it, just keep an open mind. Listen to the lines he says. Be aware of his character, his, how he plays it. And think about the fact that this still isn't Lex Luthor. But if he was trying to play Lex Luthor and implementing these type of skills as an actor, how would he do? And Pirate, tell me what you said. Be honest now.
At first I was very like, no, still can't do it. But then there was some scenes.
No, you were straight fuck off Jesse Eisenberg.
Through the movie, I was like, no, I don't see this. I don't see it. And then there was some scenes that I seen and was like, damn, dude, like that's a Lex feel right there. So, and I honestly think that, whoever was in charge of this movie sat down, seen that movie, and was like, that could be a good Lex Luthor. With work, I'm not saying he was Lex Luthor in that movie, but with work, he could definitely, I think, do that.
And that's my point.
So I don't know. That one movie did open my mind up very much to fucking say, well, I will give him a shot as Lex Luthor now. So,
Topher, Brian, have either of you seen Now You Can See Me about the Magicians?
I've seen pieces of it. You could have a good acting skill and portray a character through your acting, but I think a lot with acting, being able to play that character is also
Public
the
perception.
look. Yeah, and Jesse Eisenberg doesn't have the look. He's my size. He's a scrawny little kid. Well, he's not a kid, but he's scrawny. He doesn't have Lex Luthor. Not only does he have that, the way he speaks and the way he, his mannerisms, but he also has the look. Like, you could look at Lex Luthor and be like, I wouldn't want to fuck with that guy. He might not. Lex Luthor's definitely not a, The Rock or John Cena built character, but he still has that look of intimidation to you.
Well, now that we know that Brian is a WWF fan,
yeah, I hate it. I wouldn't watch it.
The thing I want to say is no, go ahead, Pirate. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we had this same discussion on, I think it was Wonder Woman, and I think it was Brian that said, they can put weight on somebody.
Yeah,
they can change physical appearances. It's not a matter of like. I agree with what you're saying. The way he looks right now, it's like, yeah,
give that motherfucker some protein and some bench pressing.
I wouldn't really care. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, okay, he wants to take over the world. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? But I think that if he's done right, and the camera's shot from low angles with him on a block or something, a couple phone books, he might be able to pull it off.
The Tom Cruise.
Right.
Give him the Tom Cruise treatment.
I can't be shorter than anybody. Put a crate under my feet.
Put a crate under my feet.
Sylvester Stallone too. That dude's like what, 5'9"?
The other thing that I think a lot of people have a problem with about Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor, I think is honestly just a big misconception, is that they get him confused with the dude that plays in Superbad.
Yeah.
That's not Jesse
Michael
Eisenberg.
Cera?
Really?
Yeah, Michael Cera. I think a lot of people
They look nothing alike.
I
A little.
disagree.
I can see stupid
I think they
people
definitely
thinking
look similar. I would put them in the similar.
I could see
category.
me drunk arguing that they were the same
Yeah,
person at one point.
I could see you sober.
I can see you that too, but you're an idiot.
Sober, saying that they are the same.
You drunk.
Hey, I'm a demographic. God damn it.
Okay, see.
But I don't know if we
I
talked
rest my
about
case.
this last podcast, but there's been rumors that they're making Lex Luthor a self-made, tattooed street punk.
I don't like that.
Well, I heard that it's not so much. It is a self-made millionaire.
Does that mean that he doesn't come from? Does that mean that his father did not have like $1 billion industry?
Exactly, and that's the Lionel Luthor is going to be a huge.
That's fucking garbage.
Lionel Luthor is a huge development for Lex.
Yeah.
How he got his money.
Yeah.
This one right here, they're going to say he's got a tattoo, is what they're saying, and it's the Metropolis city skyline, and they're supposed to be meaning that the tattoo he's got. But they said that he started off as in a street gang.
Okay, now hang
and
on.
worked his way up before he was, by the time he was 14, worked himself up to running it. And then by the time he was 18, was a self-made billionaire.
I want to talk about this tattoo thing for just a second here. Okay, let's just very quickly.
Is it a tramp stamp?
Very quickly.
Oh,
let's
please say it's a
okay.
tramp stamp.
This tattoo has so much meaning. Pirate, just take off your flannel shirt for a second, please. Take off your flannel shirt for a second.
Oh, I know which one you want to see.
Yeah,
All right.
just take off the flannel shirt for a second.
All right.
We're just gonna. This advertisement brought to you by homosexual men everywhere. Okay,
Don't
so
stop there.
you can see that Pirate has tons of tattoos. Okay, you gotta hold your arms motherfucking still, or they can't see you, dumbass.
Well,
Yeah, hold it closer to the camera too.
Okay, so you can see he has plenty of tattoos. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Show him the one I'm talking about. that looks like a dick. Not gonna lie. Looks like a dick coming out of his sleeve, doesn't it? Show him the rest of the tattoo. That's a straight razor with a cobweb. That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean anything at all. Okay? I'm gonna show you a tattoo. This looks like one of the frost giants from fucking Jotunheim. That doesn't mean I'm Thor. Okay? So my point is that...
Where are you going with this?
My point is that a tattoo on
like
the back or on the fucking line of... Yeah, Johnny Cock, because I'm the goddamn best. Shut your mouth and sit down. Okay, my point is that the tattoo of
the frost giants don't have
penises? Shut your goddamn mouth and listen to me.
Or they don't have to shave. Oh, the frost giants don't have to shave.
They don't have to shave. Right there. Okay, so my point is that the tattoo, the fact that this version of Lex Luthor has a tattoo of Metropolis' skyline on his back, shoulder, wherever they decide to put it. I don't know.
Tramp stamp.
I don't know if they were, tramp stamp, whatever. It doesn't define him. Like, that doesn't, I don't understand why that even is relevant. Why are they bringing this into the media? Well, Pirate and I are both very tattooed individuals, have between us hundreds and hundreds of hours of tattoo work done. That does not define you in any shape at all. It doesn't. It means literally nothing as far as the person that you are.
Are they trying? Are they saying like tattoos? Oh, go ahead, Pirate.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think the reason that the tattoo, like apparently this is the only tattoo he has from the rumor that I read, and which was followed by another rumor saying that Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor are actually friends in this movie. And they are working together to rebuild Metropolis after the destruction that General Zod and Superman, have their little hooting in.
Insane.
But and I think that insinuates the tattoo, and that's why he has the Metropolis skyline or the city light or city line, because I think that's supposed to be like exactly like his love for the city. Now, Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor apparently.
Why not build a statue? You're a fucking billionaire.
Well, why
do you go get a $400 tattoo?
Wait, how are they friends?
No. I mean, come on.
No, it's
maybe he already had the tattoo.
I think it's the tattoo he had, and that's why he's so invested in the city and he loves it so much that a city that he loves so much that he had tattooed on him. Maybe when he had nothing. Maybe he wasn't a billionaire.
In
when
my
he got
opinion,
tattooed.
I hope. I can't tell you how much I hope that they don't even show it, they don't incorporate it, they don't even refer to it in anything. Because
I'm just saying it makes sense.
Here's my point, Pirate. Here's and you'll relate to this probably more than the other two. Maybe you guys will, maybe you won't. But Pirate and I, you can't tell by our current physical shapes. But
which is
Pirate
round.
and I, which is round, by the way. I'm a keg, not a six pack. But Pirate and I used to fight, and I used to coach actually mixed martial arts and Muay Thai kickboxing. I know I don't look like it anymore, and if you don't believe me, fuck you, because I don't need you to verify my memories. I was there. I was in Thailand. Whatever. My point is, I can't even tell you in the 7 years that I spent in that gym training and coaching and teaching classes how many dozens of people came into that gym and thought because they had tattoos they were fucking tough. Right? I heard the giggle. I heard the giggle. So I know Pirate. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so by doing this, it just feels to me like they're playing on that just ridiculous misconception that because you've got ink, you're a tough guy. Like that doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. I think that they need to play on Lex Luthor's intellect. They need to play on his ability to sell his personality and his business savviness. And I think the character in Smallville actually, I don't know the actor's name, but I
Michael
think
Rosenbaum.
He does a fucking phenomenal job of playing a Lex Luthor at that age. I mean, I think that they should have went and got his ass.
Yeah, they should have just
brought him in and had him play it. I mean, I think Jesse Eisenberg will do a great job, but I think that motherfucker, dude, he could have done some shit. Like that guy. He played it to the T before the character was even developed. I don't know. Anybody's thoughts? I know I'm going on a complete rant.
Hopefully the tattoos, just a minor detail, but I mean that doesn't mean that some people, their tattoos don't have meaning for them just because, not all of them do.
Oh no, they do. They do.
But clearly, I mean, the old white-haired, business suit executives at movie studios don't have any idea, what the whole tattooed youth of America really, like, what the hell that means.
Therein lies the issue, I think.
We know that, so...
That's probably 90% of the issue, I would say.
I think it's just going to be interesting to see the development of the friendship between Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really more interested on seeing how that and how it differs. Like, because you're early into Smallville, but I mean, Lex Luthor's not a guy you can kind of always be friends with and see eye to eye with.
I think that, I think part of it. I think honestly, part of what they could potentially. I don't think that in one movie they'll have time to fully develop it, but I think they could hint at like a friendship at that adolescent age, kind of like that Smallville age, that's 16, 15, 16, 17 years old, like where maybe Bruce and Lex Luthor were maybe in a boarding school together, or. But
they can't be because Bruce Wayne's so much older than him in this movie.
Oh, are they doing that? Oh, that's right.
Because
Bruce
Ben Affleck and they're like at least like 15 years apart or something like that.
So they can't play that. Oh wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
But
so they can't even play that angle.
I think the whole thing too that they're very similar, but they run their businesses completely different, and I think that's what's going to be a tearing factor between LexCorp and Wayne Tech.
Should be interesting.
But I don't know.
Either way, it should be interesting to see how things progress. I think we're about ready to wrap things up for here today for Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode number 13. As always, I am Fox2. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure to check us out on comicbookrelated.com, and we will be having some guests here soon. Make sure to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/comicbooknerdnation. Signing out. We got the Pirate.
See you guys. I think a beer just exploded in my freezer.
Nice. Topher?
He means a beer exploded in his pants.
Yeah, follow that one up. And Brian.
Up and away.
Up and away. All right, guys. We'll see you later.